Hi, thanks for joining us today on Real Estate Insiders TV. I'm Danny Poulos with the Elite Lending Team at Blue Chip Mortgage, and our guest this morning is Abe Himelstein. He's with RE/MAX First Choice. He's the managing broker in Palm Beach Gardens. And we're going to be talking today about what agents are looking for as they search around for the right fit, the right company, and also what brokers like Abe were looking for as they were deciding which firm to align themselves with. So first, Abe, take a minute, tell everybody who you are and what you do, and then we'll get right into the topics for today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abe Himelstein. I'm the managing broker of RE/MAX First Choice in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
And you've been doing real estate for how long?
Over 26 years.
26 years as a agent, broker, manager?
Well, I started off as an agent, and within 7 months I was promoted to becoming a broker, and the rest of it is history.
History? Well, we don't know all the history yet. We'll get to that. So you work with a lot of major companies, I know, before you settled where you are now, and you were managing big teams of agents.
Well, I started off, really, I left the chemical industry in New Jersey in 1989. Time for a change.
Okay.
You had a problem with EPA and OSHA. So I came to Florida and I got my real estate license. I was too young to really retire. And I got started with a small company called Realty World in West Palm Beach, and then I became the managing broker of Himelstein Better Homes and Gardens in Boynton Beach, Florida. And I was there for quite a few years till they sold to Coldwell Banker, and I managed for Coldwell Banker for a few years. And then I built a Prudential office starting from zero as a startup company in Boynton to over 150 agents who worked for me. And then I worked for Century 21, and then I sort of semi-retired. And I got brought back into this business, and I became the managing broker of RE/MAX 3 years ago. We started with no agents, and we have 32 agents right now.
Just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in.
You never, like Yogi Berra says, it ain't over till it's over.
Well, you're the perfect person to be talking to about our topics today because you've had a lot of experience and exposure to a lot of the major companies. So it's not like you're just talking about what you offer. You're already aware of everything that's out there. So let's first start with what brought you to the model you're in as a managing broker. Forget about what brings agents in. What brought you to it?
Well, basically, I was brought into this business by a man by the name of Bill Brady, who is the president of our company. He owns 3 RE/MAXs in Illinois. He's also a state senator. He ran for governor 4 years ago, where he lost by 1,400 votes. And he's still a state senator, and he's looking to open up an office in Florida. So we were looking at various places, and I was brought in by one of my agents who worked for me, and we found a spot which we thought was to our liking, but unfortunately a company in the area had divvies to that spot. So I live in PGA National in Palm Beach Gardens, and I played golf one Friday. I was coming up PGA Boulevard. I saw an old gallery which was vacant, and I called Mr. Brady back and I said, "Bill, I think I found a perfect place for you." He says, "I'm interested on one condition." I said, "What's that?" "That you come along." I said, "So make me an offer."
Okay.
Well, that's why I'm here.
All right, so you made a very big point in that we all know in real estate, they all say location, location, location. So it's also a fact when you talk about where your office should be. Because I know your office is in a location with, right on PGA Boulevard, there's a ton of traffic there. So that's something that made you pick the office to be in too. So not only are buyers looking for location, but managing brokers are looking for the same thing. So now you're in a position where you're starting from scratch and hiring agents. So you run into what agents are looking for when they're either starting newly licensed, or when they're moving from company to company. So let's go through what you think are most important, the facts that are most important to agents when they make their decisions. So what do you think is the number one thing?
Well, before we get into that, the reason why we picked this location, it was on PGA Boulevard. 50,000 vehicles pass through my place daily, and I'm next to Rocco's Tacos and Kabuki's, 2 restaurants which have a tremendous draw of people coming in daily. That was one of the major reasons why I picked that location. I think one of the reasons agents come to an office is because they're disgruntled with where they are now. And the major reason is, number one, that their earning capacity is limited or stopped. By going to a major company like RE/MAX, they have the opportunity to grow exponentially and also to build their business very effectively.
So they start working someplace, they've got their own sphere of influence, and they're doing business, and you're sort of saying they hit a plateau. This is how much they're doing based on their sphere of influence, and they're looking for somebody to show them how to take the next step and expand that. And at the end of the day, they want to write more business and make more money, be more successful.
They know that when they go with a major brand, there's things that a major brand stands for. Number one, we do a lot of TV advertising. We have over 98,000 agents worldwide. We have over 100 offices in various countries and 6,400 offices throughout the world. But what makes them come to us is the fact that we have a name brand. The average income earning of a RE/MAX agent is $108,000.
Right, so they're looking, I mean, obviously, they're looking, like you say, to grow their business and make more. And the fact that you're international, I think we all know that the growing percentage of the market now is international buyers. So to be able to have exposure overseas for your inventory here has got to be a huge advantage. So I know from talking to agents, they're always looking for leads and referrals and stuff from the office that they're going to. But that can be expensive for an agent at some places. It costs them a lot of money to be able to get leads from the office.
Well, number one, I'm a non-competing broker. I do not compete with my agents. And with RE/MAX, we have a wonderful lead generation program. Any lead is given directly to the agent, and there is no referral fees. This is one of the biggest draws which brings people to our company.
So I guess what they're used to is if a lead comes into the office, let's explain what a competing broker is. If the manager of their office is also generating real estate business and making money on real estate, I guess that's where the lead goes first before it may get out to other agents. Is that the way it may work on a competing broker?
In fact, when leads come into me personally, which are few and far, I go down the list. I don't know who they are from, where they're going, except the fact I give them to every agents down the line. And then I make a list. The last one I gave a lead to, the next one will get one, in that order. And there's no preferences on that. They can handle them in whatever directions they feel they want to.
Right, so what you're saying is they come in and they go right back out. It's not where you're, again, I like to refer to if you've got a competing broker and a phone call comes in and says they need someone to write an offer on a $1.5 million deal. If you're working with a competing broker, we know where that's going, that deal, rather than out to an agent, right?
Correct.
And when you talked about disgruntled agents, I guess they're probably agents who have run into that exact situation, right?
One of the things they're disgruntled is about is the fact that they're not getting leads. Number two, their business is stagnated. And number three, they need a direction to go in. And we're the company to bring them to that level.
Now, I run into this a lot with agents that come in, they're working for companies that do generate leads or buy leads that they hand out, but the agents don't really know what to do with them. I think a lot of them are looking for a system in place to follow up on these leads, some sort of, I guess you call it drip campaign, something that takes somebody for the next 6 months and sort of keeps them in your loop.
Well, number one, we have various training programs online available where the agent can stay at home, turn on his TV, go to the internet, and get the actual training by just watching a monitor and learning the basics. There's also an 800 number, which is 1-888-398-7171. They can call that 24 hours a day and get direction.
So leads come into them, they put it in. I know you've got a web-based system. So once they get a lead and they start working it, do you have a system that does follow up with those leads?
Definitely. They will be on it constantly. They have drip campaigns going out at their leisure. They've got all the tools available for them to generate the business they're looking for. So
not only, it's one thing to say you're out there, recruiting to bring people in, but all these things that you're mentioning about a lead follow-up, not competing with them, that really turns to retention of agents, right? What makes somebody stay?
Number one, they stay because, number one, of who the managing broker is, number one. Number two, what are they getting out of the office? And number three, what do we have to offer that separates us from the rest? I've lost maybe 3 people within the last 3 years. 2 people have moved out of state, and 1 because of illness.
All right, so once they're there, and I think you made a great point about the managing broker, and I think that's with all companies, it's really the personality of the office too. If you're treating people fair and not dipping into their pockets for every little thing, that's the kind of thing that keeps people around. And it's the same kind of thing, if you're not doing that, that makes people look elsewhere.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you never hear anything more common than agents complaining about fees, and having to pay for everything that they don't think is paying off. So if they're in a situation where they think it's worth it and they're getting their value, I think that's what keeps them happy, right?
It definitely does.
So, Abe, before we have to go, take a minute, tell everybody how they can reach you if they have more questions about either general and real estate or working with you and your type of model. Make it easy for them to find you.
It's very easy. The name is Abe Himelstein, Managing Broker, RE/MAX First Choice, 5080 PGA Boulevard, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, 561-373-8855, or Abe Himelstein @gmail.com.
Excellent, Abe. Thanks for coming in today. Some great information for all agents out there.
Thank you, everybody.